I'm the Mister,
I'm the Mrs.
and we welcome you to the show.
Yeah.
Another Friday night, we're here, and we're glad to be here, and we are glad to be coming to you with some words of wisdom, also some things that we have talk about things we've been through, talk about things that are on the news, talk about things that are new as well as old, and to be a help to those who are listening and want to know some advice on how to maintain and how to do things that are essential in a marital relationship. So here we are once again. She's smiling again. We all know it's about to be summertime. It's about to be summertime, about to be going places, doing things again without mask on. But anyway, we're grateful to be here, grateful to be, again, another Friday night. We think I had some good people call and had some things to say. Of course, I had brother call, they're on my side always. I appreciate that. They understand where a brother is coming from.
Where are the ladies?
Anyhow.
Where are you? I hadn't heard anything from you, ladies. Need to hear from you.
Yeah, we know.
Need to talk to you.
The brothers.
Text me, respond.
Really?
Don't let the brothers beat us down.
They already, it ain't a beat down. It's a burial right now. But anyway, we have taken the show.
Don't make me do this by myself.
Don't worry about it. We're here. We understand. But we thank you for your comments. We thank you for what you are saying, and we certainly do appreciate it. We try to do this to be a help objectively to those who are listening. So we're here today, and we're going to get right into it. Trying to switch up a little bit as we try to get things rolling from a different point of view, not the, I guess, there are different views and different things we can talk about that relate to marriage. The one today we're talking about getting older. That's what we're talking about, getting older. I know people say, I'm not getting older, but I'm getting better. Tell your need that. Yeah, tell your mind that. Tell those aches and pains that you have. But the thing is, as we do get older, I guess some of the questions that we could ask is, as we get older, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with our mates as we get older? I guess that's what the question is. How do we deal with our mates as we get older? Any suggestions? Anything you want to suggest? The changes that happen to our better halves as we age. She don't want to delve into this one. Well, I'll start. She said I know. So one thing is, you understand personalities change. People don't realize that when your mate get older, that personality begins to change because they notice the changes that are occurring not only to themselves but that are occurring also to their spouse. And so personalities change. It's not the same. Sometimes it's not the same perky, bubbly, excited, exuberant personality you met 30 years ago. It's like it's not, some other changes take place. But right now, we're talking about a personality standpoint. So as people age, their personality changes. It's Friday night, you can't just shake your head tonight. I say something, personalities change. And so you got to be able to deal with that. How do you deal with when your mate personality begins to change right before you as you're aging?
We have to have some patience. Maybe educate yourself. Look at what's going on with them and try to educate yourself as to what's going on. And then that'll help you to deal with it a little bit better. definitely have to have some patience, because most of the time, the things you're going through, you certainly don't wanna go through them. But things come with age, so you have to deal with them. And so you have to have some patience. Know that, and don't take everything personal, but just know that things are going on and you need to educate yourself about what's going on.
I mean, you can do that. Education is certainly a remedy. In some areas, but the fact remains that as you age and as your personality begins to change, it may not be the dominant force in a marriage or relationship, but it could be the one that forces changes in other areas that you might not want to change in. Dealing with someone who has been kind and understanding, and all of a sudden they become rude and not abusive as in abuse relation, but in a way that their words now begin to hurt. What do? You know it's not them. You know that's not the person that you know. It's just that aging and personality changes. I'll give you an example. Talk to someone who always you have a nice answer, and then all of a sudden their answer startles you, and begins to transition in that manner. What do? I know you should educate yourself, but sometimes these things even make you angry.
I'm trying to figure out this. I mean, there's something major going on there. If they change it all of a sudden that quickly or what have you. But who in the world who does that? And then the person that it's happening to has got to realize something is going on as well. I don't know. That's a hard thing to deal with.
It is a hard thing to deal with, but you got to deal with it at your age. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to everybody in your age. One thing, not only does when you put it in totality, not only does your personality change, your personality change, but other things that change. So it's not just one. There's a combination of many things that are happening to the relationship at one time as your age in marriage is with your personality. One is your body change. Everybody's body changes as you age. That ain't nothing that nobody don't know. We go from being here to here over a period of time. And so as your body changes, that can affect your personality.
That's true. It could affect your personality.
I'm not talking about from a physical standpoint, but your body changes in other ways also. I used to have hair. Ain't got none now. I used to be slim and trim and fit. Well, you already know about all that, don't you? Anyway, but see, your body changes. That affects your personality. And how you think about yourself is essential and crucial as you age, the way you feel about you. Because the way you feel about you is going to determine how somebody else feels about you, I guess.
And it also determines some of the things you do, or some of the things you don't do, or some of the things you enjoy or used to enjoy. When those changes occur, could just keep you from doing those things that you used to do. So when mate finds themselves in a bad spot, but so does the person that it's happening to.
But, I mean, not just mine, but fellas, what do you do when your spouse's body change? I mean, I asked the fellas, you can ask the lady now. What do you do when your spouse's body change? She looking at me like I stole a rabbit or something. I'm just asking a question. What do you do when your spouse not only personality changes, a body changes? Probably a personality change or a body change. There's a lot of things that factors into this. So down through the years, you'll learn this. So when your mate body changes, she's aware or he is aware, because she ain't telling yet. He is aware or she's aware that there has been some changes that have occurred down through the years that person won't. Like we don't live forever, so we don't forever have a certain type of body either. So we don't have a certain type of personality that stays the same because of these changes. People minds change. You know, your mind changes also. I mean, as you age, you're gonna have to deal with those issues. So it's something to think about. How do you help your mate when these things begin to occur? Something to think about. She's lost for words today. Tonight she's lost for words. How do you propose to handle all those things being thrown at someone that are occurring in your life at one time as you age? The spouse body has changed, the spouse personality has changed, the spouse mindset has changed. Now, watch this, the last one. Then your spouse health begins to change. There's a lot coming at one time when you're 30 years and 40 years into your marriage, and you got married at 21, 23, 24, 25, and now 35, 40 years later, you push to 55, 60. All these things begin to change. You realize you're no longer that 35-year-old fit person anymore.
Luckily, and hopefully you love that person, so you try to be in there for the long haul.
Should be in them a long haul. Be in there for the long haul. What are you talking about?
I mean, for better or worse, sickness and health.
See, but you said that you didn't believe that what the preacher said. So.
Well, I was young, I said that.
Yeah, you didn't even know the preacher had even said that to you. So I don't know where she come with that right there. Didn't think the preacher meant that, but anyhow, but better or worse, she said. But
you better hope somewhere in those years I learned it, so you don't be a nursing home.
There she go. I'm about a nursing home. You know what I'm talking about? That's better. That's why you got to understand yourself. You don't wind up what she talking about. But we're not the same 20 or 40 years into marriages. So we have to learn how to cope with that. The things that you have to do to keep your mind fresh, to keep yourself aware. And your spouse has to do the same thing to have an understanding of what's changing. So there's no anger, there's no fear that's being developed. We must know that these changes will occur. Quiet on the homestead. Quiet on the homestead. Thinking. She's thinking about these things. Sometimes people haven't thought about these things before. Because we ride on through life, not even realizing people are changing right before your eyes are changing. And as time continues to change, you're going to see these things. No one lives forever. No one. And these are things we got to understand, we got to do. And make sure that we do make room for these things and be able to be aware of these are things that are happening right in the midst of you as you're walking and living each day. That person you're living with is changing. So it's in the mind, certainly you see the body changes. You certainly can see the health changing. And you can see the other things. With personality, that's probably the last thing that we recognize that's changing. So we have to learn how to deal with that. So that's your plan. What's your plan? Everybody got a plan. What's yours?
Like you said, I mean, a lot of people haven't really probably thought about it. I guess I hadn't really thought about it that far ahead.
Well, it's time.
Well, I mean, if we really haven't had any health issues, like major health issues, and the body's changed. Of course, we never like the body changing. something I really hadn't done a lot of thinking about. And that's why I'm kind of quiet right now, because I hadn't done a lot of thinking about it.
You gotta understand, the person that you're sitting next to, we're here on a Friday night, if you listen to this, the person you're sitting next to is not the same person you married 20, 30, 40 years ago. You may think they are, but they're not. People grow up, people grow out, things happen, and that person has changed. What has happened though is we have effectively accepted change as we go along. But then there's going to be that, what we call the tip of the top of the mountain. Then there's going to be that downward spiral that begins to gradually happen. And when it gradually happens, then you have those things that we just talked about. And see, while one could be on top of the mountain, the other one could be coming down, and the spiral has not come down yet, and they may be unaccustomed to what's going on. And that person has to learn how to adapt, how to find out what can I do, because sooner or later it's going to be the same thing. Shaking their head.
That's true. Thank you for making me think about it.
Everybody got to think about it. These are the things you have to think about, because your mate is going to change, your spouse is going to be different. These are the things that's going to happen to all of us as we continue to live in our marriages, we begin to age and continue to age. And somebody penned the song, all of our good days outweigh our bad days. It's true. But there are also some things and times that we got to be aware of. These are the things, a time that's going to try you, try your marriage, try your patience, try your faith. Because as we age in these areas, these things happen. And no marriage is immune from this, because it's going to one day, one of these four things that I just mentioned, is going to happen in your marriage. You're going to have to be able to deal with it, or your spouse is going to need you to be able to deal with what's happening to them. That's what you got to do. Any suggestions you want to give the people on a Friday night concerning this, how to deal with these items and deal with these things that are happening?
Oh, not really. Like I said, you just have to be patient, kind, as much as you possibly can. It's not personally aimed at you.
Then you gotta want to keep up with the changes. If you see something, if you see changes happening to your mate, you gotta want to be able to keep up with the change. In other words, you can't go take your head and like the auction and put your head in the sand and pretend like you don't see, pretend like nothing is happening. Because what affects them is affecting you.
And they gotta be willing to sit down and talk about it, have a conversation with you about it.
Who?
The two of you, especially the person that is having it.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Now that their personality has changed, they don't seem to realize they need to talk about it.
At some point in time, they're gonna have to talk or tell you, or you're gonna have to figure out a way to bring it to them so that they can understand and realize that things are changing and things are happening, and they need to have a talk about it.
And yeah, that's true. I agree wholeheartedly. And you got to be able to cope with the fact that their mind is telling them they're all right. Exactly. That's the key. That's the dilemma that you're going to be hit with. Because in these areas, people are going to think that they're doing fine, everything is okay. That's what you got to be able to do. So I pray, Lord, that we can all grasp something from this and learn today that there are going to be changes to our mates as we get older. There are going to be shifts in our personalities. Of course, our bodies, our bodies are gonna change, our health situation could also drastically change. You can go from being this healthy one moment to a week just not understanding what's happening. Those are the things that we gotta be able to, as married people, and to be able to come together to understand the changes that happen to your mate, whether they're suddenly, drastically, over time. We may be able to cope with how we can deal with those things. So tonight is your night to sit back and understand, put plans in place to try to deal with those things, either from an economic standpoint, logistical standpoint, or just from a standpoint of this is my marriage, and I have to do what I have to do to succeed. Amen. Anything you want to say?
No, just, well, if you're not there, maybe this conversation here will help you realize that it'll be better if it gets to help it a whole lot better if you know and plan for it now and include your spouse. Both of you together can handle it a lot better than you trying to handle it on your own.
Sounds good. Let's switch gears a minute and move a little further into our show. We're gonna switch gears. Yeah, we say that's a serious topic. We're gonna switch gears right now and head into the rest. Is there anything such as a fair fight in a marriage?
Where do you get this stuff from? You, where did you get it from?
Y'all see that? Is there anything, I'm talking to the audience,
Yeah.
is there anything such as a fair fight in a marriage? See, sometimes the mindset goes to physicality. That's not what we're talking about.
They're not fair fight, cause there ain't gonna be no fair fight in physical.
I don't know, cause my brother told me one time he was 2 for 4.
Okay, well, that's cause whoever the person was handling it right. So.
Yeah, what you mean when he said he was 2 for 4? What you talking? He lost 2 of them. He was saying he lost 2 of them fights.
He lost all 4.
And then he said he won't drop when he lost them other 2 either.
Yeah, he probably don't even know who probably would do it.
But is there anything such as a fair fight in a relationship? Not talking about physical punching and all this stuff, because I mean, tell the truth, there are fights in relationships. You fight about this, you fight about food being left in the refrigerator. You fight about stuff.
And that would be a fair fight, cause when I food.
Sometimes so there are fights in relationships. There are fights in relationships. So you saying there is such thing as a fair
I
fight?
think there are some fair fights, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Here's an example I'm gonna give you, fellas and ladies, so you know what I'm talking about when I ask if there's such thing as a fair fight in a relationship. The brothers come home, and it's playoff time, and the game is on prime time, 9 o'clock, 8:30ish, and it's playoff. So that you would understand this, ladies, playoff means that they're only gonna play this particular game, this particular night only. It's not gonna be played another time. It's for all the marbles. So he comes home, he wants to watch that game, and she says to him, tonight is movie night. A fight gonna ensue. Not a physical fight, but there's going to be some kind. Yes it is. Because you're not going to understand. First of all, you're not going to understand the implications of playoffs. You think it's a regular old game that you can see the game anytime. You can watch any old ugly game anytime. I already know that. You can watch this game all the time. Another one's going to come on. And not understanding it's a playoff.
Now that used to be, but now
I'm just talking about.
you can go back and get a movie anywhere. You can go on your TV and pull up a movie that was played 20, 30 years ago. So
I just use that
and I
example.
done been in the sports game long as I know
You
what
know,
that means. I know what that means. You know that. Tell me what that means.
I tell what.
You know that. Tell me.
gotta tell them. Most men gotta tell somebody what it means.
Tell me what it
See,
means.
this fight right now, but is it a fair fight? That's what I'm talking about right now. See, is it a fair fight? So, if you want to make it fair, one of the things you got to understand is that something like that occurs, you have to maintain a lot of things. You know,
Thing.
I'm asking you.
No, you just said to maintain the thing.
But you said, well, I go to a fight was fair. So what do you mean by that? Since you said it was fair, yeah, it could be fair.
Right, because I mean, that could be fair for you if you're telling me, and I'm not understanding, but I would, because I know. But I'm saying, come in and say, we gotta watch this movie tonight. We gotta watch it right now.
That's movie night.
No, I can't watch tonight because this game is only for tonight. And then I start just going on. And on and on. And we back and forth. Then, like I said, that movie could be watched at a later time, and he telling me the game, that's the only time he can watch it. Then I think I should have a little understanding. So that to me, and I'm a woman, I would say that's a fair fight because this is a game he might have been waiting for a long time. Or waiting for his team to get there, and then here I am saying we gotta watch this movie right now. So no, I think that could be a fair fight.
Oh, okay.
You know I don't bother you about no games now.
I'm not talking with. See, this ain't.
So now we get ready to have.
This ain't about. See, you talking about you. This ain't about you. This is about any couple.
Yeah, but you said it's snoring.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm snoring.
And I'm sure there are a lot of women out there that don't. Some women probably sit and watch the game with their husband.
If you want to have a fair fight, never interrupt the other person when that person is expressing.
That way we can never have a fair fight.
You want to be fair, never interrupt the other one when that one is expressing themselves.
We're not going to have a fair fight.
See that? That's what I'm talking about.
That's just not me.
That ain't hurting. She ain't gonna go to the fight ain't gonna never be the way. The disagreement, the fight, what they want to call it, ain't gonna never be fair if you keep interrupting the person who is trying to express themselves to the best of their ability, and you won't let. It's quiet in the house.
I already said what I want to say. Okay, I already said.
You gonna interrupt me every time. Ladies, do not interrupt. Men. Please don't interrupt your spouse when they're trying to express themselves. If you want to have a civilized engagement. Maybe I need to stop saying fight. But a fair, civilized engagement. But she said it's possible to have a fair fight if you know. There are rules. That's one of the first rules. There are rules to the engagement, and one is you never interrupt the other one when that person is trying to express themselves. You can have a fair fight in a marriage.
Well, to me, that's not even fighting. I don't need. You don't need rules if you fight Mike Tyson or something in the ring, but you just, to me, see, you already know me. I'm gonna get mine out.
But you can get it out, and you ain't gotta get it out when the other person's talking.
I'm gonna get it out.
See, but you can wait.
What's going on? I'm gonna get it out.
That's fine. You can get it out, but you can wait. What's wrong with waiting?
Yeah, I feel like waiting.
There you go. Then ain't gonna be that fair fight. Then you subject yourself to anything being said or anything happening. Talking to other people. I said I'm talking to other people. Everybody ain't like you. Everybody's different. Everyone is different. Everybody handles things different. Some people can't handle when somebody's just talking to them and they trying to talk.
That may be true.
boo.
I ain't got no boo when I'm trying to own my own boo, when I'm trying to get my point across, and I'm gonna get my point
But
across.
you don't have to, I'm gonna leave it alone. Y'all hear that, right? Anyway, so here's another. So in order for the fight to be fair, all right, and have a civilized conversation, even though it may be heated and it could be graphic, if you want it to stay fair, you can't bring up the past. You got something you want to say about that too? What?
I ain't got nothing I wanna say about that. I mean, I guess you gotta stay in the present, what's in the past should be in the past.
Yeah, that's what people say. But if something happened wrong, you already know 9 times out of 10, something's gonna be brought up about something that ain't got nothing to do with the
And
current
that's on
situation.
both sides, it ain't just a woman thing.
I didn't know who said anything about a woman thing. I didn't say that.
It's not a woman thing.
But you sure about that? I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I'm sure
saying?
about it.
It caused something.
I'm sure.
I'm just gonna say this. I mean,
Say it.
most times men don't even care. We don't even care about something happened 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We ain't even remembering that.
Maybe most of them.
But should be.
You got some that don't remember.
Yeah, you got something. Well, if you want to maintain, but if you want to fight to be fair, you can't just nitpick and pick up something in the past. You're fighting about nuisance things that was a nuisance. You know, get out somewhere, come back with you. Fight is happening. You just bring out something off the wall. The last time you stayed out like this, oh Lord, that was 40 years ago. This something happened in 1988, 1998. Yeah, but it happened. See what I'm saying? You can't do that. It's a different thing. Then the fight escalates. That's what I'm saying. It escalates. Maybe the person wanted to escalate. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you can't never. The past is that. It should not be a part of the present situation if you want it to remain fair. Because what happens is now it becomes fair game for the other person to do the same thing. And then what happens? Then the fight is what? See what you're saying? It's maybe the person wanted to be on. That's why they brought it up. We are at that stage. We got to be careful. Because we're using the term fight or the word fight. We're using that term or using it, but we're not talking about fist fight. We're not talking about physicality. We're talking about from the aspect of engaging in serious conversation that sometimes become to the point where it can be confrontational, but not to the point where people have come to blows or thinking about coming. It could be heated moments of passion and heated like that. So that's where we're at with this. And so when we see that, we got to understand that also. So we never bring up the past. Fellas, ladies also, we never ever want this fight to remain fair. We don't want to criticize each other either. You know, things about that.
I agree.
Because if you are in conversation and I don't know. This is a trap question. Men, you gotta be very careful. Your woman comes in to the area where you're sitting, and she has on a dress or something. Does this make me look fat? You better keep your mouth closed. I'm just telling you, you better keep your mouth closed.
So you gonna let her go out looking So you don't let her go out
look,
looking
I'm
frumpy?
trying to tell you. She coming in and
So
asking.
you don't let her go out looking frumpy?
You can call it what you want to. She said, do I look fat? There ain't no win situation with your answer whatsoever. You ain't gonna win no one way or the other. Oh, so then you said, well, do you have another dress you can wear? There you go. Wrong answer. Well, kind of. Wrong answer. So you criticizing me now? Oh Lord, there you go.
But you asked.
Yeah,
So you gotta be willing to take whatever the answer he gives you since you're asking.
The answer should be, listen, I'm busy right
No, you should be able to take whatever the answer is since you asked. I mean, you don't have a problem if I come out of the house, come out the room with a dress and it's a little short. Where you going with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference?
That's my prerogative.
What's the difference?
Because I asked you, you asked me. Different. You came to me and asked me. You put me in a situation. You put me in a no-win situation. I ain't gonna win or lose it.
Well, you might still be in a no-win if you ask me that.
I ain't asking the question. I asked you, what you going down?
I say out.
Out where?
To work.
You can go anywhere long you find another way to get out of that door.
Mm-hmm.
You can go anywhere you want to. Long you can find another way out of that door. You might as well tell the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So don't be in a situation where you have to be critical or be put in that situation. We don't criticize each other. Even if the spouse didn't create the situation when she asks a question, or but it can lead to something. So we want to make sure that we are in that kind of situation. The fight is fair. We don't criticize each other. And here's another one we gotta understand: that when we are after the infighting, no matter what, the fight could have been about any little thing, but spouse has been married so long that fights break out sometimes, or heated verbal conversations break out sometimes about the little things, trivial things. But at the end, if you want to keep the fight fair, each person has to learn how to apologize.
That's true.
Be apologetic. I didn't mean to sound off. I didn't mean to be angry. I didn't mean to say what I said. But then don't say that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You didn't mean to say it. You wouldn't have said it. Don't make the situation worse than it could be because the person may not never apologize again. What's use me apologizing when you don't believe I apologize? What's use me saying I'm sorry, you don't believe I'm sorry?
Well, come there saying like you